couple torn ACLs in the outfield. He's got one. He's got one in his career, Bogey.
All right, we want to raise our hands and we'll get this going.
John, you guys have given Vogie a lot of chances here lately when the numbers haven't been there. Is this what you're waiting for?
Yeah, that's kind of, against right-handed pitchers over his career, that's what he can do, And I know it's been sporadic for him. Been in there a little bit more with guys battling the flu and stuff like that. But yeah, that's kind of what it we were hoping it would look like. Homer, double. And just good at bats. He controls his own. So I know it's a small sample, but that's what he can do.
You mentioned he was a triple short of the cycle. Was anybody having fun with that in the dugouts? And were you a believer?
Yeah, you never say never. I mean, crazier things have happened on the field. Seems like especially this year. So it was a really good day for him. Him and Alek, especially, but. Yeah, you never say never in this game. And if Vogie had hit a triple, it would have been highlight of my year.
John Monaoah, the way that he's looked the last two starts, I mean, the command, the velocity, the swagger that he seems to have on the mound, is he back to looking like the guy that he was in the first 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, he looked great again today, really. I mean, I just love the way he's attacking the zone and throwing strikes. I mean, the 2 hit by pitches kind of grazed the guy, and the 1 walk, which was a competitive walk to a really good hitter in Yandy. But I think it was a great mix of his pitches. Him and Kirky were really, really good together between the fastball, the slider, and the changeup. And yeah, he stepped up when we really needed him. But I think to answer your question, I mean, this again, going back to his last outing against Minnesota, and then today, this was probably the best he's looked, even going back to 2022. I think.
What gives you confidence that you've seen so far that he's going to be able to kind of keep this going and find that consistency from start to start?
Yeah, I think just where he's at and his mindset and understanding that his stuff is there and that he can be in the zone and get people out. So, there was swing and miss and there was weak contact, and I think when he's in the zone, he can definitely do that.
John, before the pitch clock, Monaoah is one of the slower pitchers in the league. In his past 2 starts, which have been good starts, he was really quick. It was 2 hours and 20 minutes last week, and today, I think it was 2 hours and 30 minutes. How much does pace of play help him when he's humming along? Yeah,
I mean, he definitely feeds off of momentum and feeds off of emotion. We can all see that and recognize that. I think he's made some adjustments in terms of the pitch clock between last year and this year, and understanding that his game needs to kind of evolve a little bit with the new rules. But when he's that's like anyone. I said it about Yusei last year. It's just on to the next pitch. It almost helped him. But I think with Alek, when he's really feeling it, it's a good feeling to have. That you're throwing the next pitch pretty soon.
John, if Monaoah is back to being Monaoah, that gives you 5 guys that can go 6, 7 innings every start. How does that help your bullpen and planning for that aspect of it?
Yeah, it's huge. This game is based on starting pitching, obviously, whether it's us or 29 other teams. But for him to do what he did today was great. You can save, Garcia, and didn't want to get Jordy in there, but he came in and did the job. But I think when your starters can really navigate deep into a lineup 3, even 4 times through, it helps the bullpen for sure, especially when they're probably not performing up to what they think they should or what we think they should. So it gives them a little bit of a breather and keeps them fresh.
John, when recently we talked a bit about Monaoah's slider shape and how that had evolved. It looked like he might have been manipulating it a little bit today for swing and miss, for called strikes, for weak balls in play. How does that maybe compare to the slider had before, and how does that fit into what he's doing?
Yeah, I think it's a big pitch for him, obviously. Throwing strikes with his fastball first and foremost, but I think today it was between 83 and really 78, and it had different kind of movement shaped on it. But him having that feel for it, whether it's burying it to a lefty or getting it a little bit more horizontal to righties, he has a good feel for it right now. And if he can do that with his fastball location, I think that's what makes him really good.
And George gets on base 3 times, and you talked about him trying to elevate it a little bit. I'm imagining that the swing that he took on that double is probably what you were talking about there. How do you see his progress being made?
Yeah, I mean, George, again, we are we are confident in George, and we need him to be who he has been. That's no secret. And wherever he's hitting, we just want him to continue to make the progress that he's making. The walks today, the double, he was excited about the steps that he's taken. But yeah, I thought today was a really, really good day for him, for Kirky too, to get that doubled as well. But for Georgie, it's, the guy's too damn good to kind of be in a rut for a whole season, So again, the confidence is never going to waver in him, no matter where he's hitting. But I think just getting him going in the right direction is huge.
John, based on your conversations, excuse me, with Pete and with Alek, what was the bigger challenge, getting Monaoah back to how he was pitch-wise, or getting him back to the kind of mindset and the mentality from the Alek of old?
Yeah, good question. It's a combination of both, really. I think that it's really hard to be the competitor that we saw today when you're battling through mechanics or stuff, or if your stuff's down. So I think getting his stuff back to where it should be was number one, and then it's really, really easy to feel comfortable and confident when your stuff is there. So you don't want guys to fake it. You don't want I think last year really he kind of fell into that. We relied on the competitor that he has been really with his stuff not being where it should be. So stuff first and foremost, and it's a credit to him, it's a credit to Pete, it's a credit to everyone that's worked with him over the past 12 months that he's gotten back to where he is. And then I think when you see results, you see kind of the competitor and the emotion that you get from Alek.
And getting back to Vogelback, it was obvious during my post-game interview that he's a beloved teammate. What have you seen from him when he's not playing that has his teammates really enjoying having him in the dugout?
He's been through everything. He's been, every transaction probably created, he's probably been through, and understands how the game works. And I think what people don't notice about him is how he comes in prepared every single day and knows exactly where his spot may be, whether he's playing or whether he's not. He is a tremendous supporter of his teammates. Whether he's performing or playing, he never budges, and I think that it's just an easy guy to root for, really. He's obviously hit right-handed pitching very well in his career, and I think the guys respect the overall body of work, but the way he comes in every day, he kind of sets the tone with the prep, the conversations, and you can't match his energy every single day, especially on day games.
John, you talked, I think, in the last homestand about when things come together, we're going to see like a complete sort of. Is that what today was?
Yeah, I mean, that was basically the recipe, right? You get really good starting pitching, you get timely hitting, and you play good defense. Yeah, that's kind of it. That's what it looks like. It's home runs, it's doubles, it's a really good bunt from Izzy. And it's good defense. I think that's kind of how any team is built. That's what you want to do. But I think for us, definitely, that's kind of the recipe that we have to hopefully hold on to and have going forward.
And just with Bo, it looked in Baltimore like he was out of it completely, and now it kind of looks like he's back in it. 0 for his last 11 after being 7 for 8 or something like that. What are you seeing?
Bo's going to be fine. I think again how hard he's hitting the ball is really encouraging, and every day is a new day. So I don't think that you never want to say, okay, this guy's 100% back. Bo's going to hit, and I think the last couple games just really hasn't hit the ball as hard or in the right spot. So. Not really worried about him at all.
John, last season with Monaoah, he seemed somewhat befuddled by the new rules of pitch clock. And do you think he's come to grips with that? And does that have any influence on his ability to do what he did the last 2 starts?
I think so, yeah. I mean, it's new for him. I know he notoriously worked pretty slow, before the rules came in last year. And I think it took a little bit of time for him to get used to it, for sure. But it's a credit to him for figuring it out, really. and understanding that the rules aren't going anywhere, so it's kind of put up or shut up, right? So I think the adjustments that he's made, both with his mechanics, his stuff, physical, shape, everything, has really paid off for him.
Okay, thanks, John.
Thank you, guys.